I am in discovery mode. I think that it's a healthy thing to question your own culture.
Le monde est beau, the world is beautiful. And I need to see people of the world.
When you are in Europe, everything seems like the same in some ways. And I thought that in Asia I will find something different in the way that the people live and the way that the people are.
I'm just really interested in seeing how other people live their life. Everyone is different but also the same in different ways, which it seems contradictory, but it's also very true. No matter where you go, people do the same things, they're just in different environments and they have different personality types.
I think there's like a new consciousness shift in humanity, and like the young generation, our generation is really picking on that. I think the concept of being in one place for like a long time and just doing the same thing over and over and again, you're not connected to this new conscious way of evolve the humankind.
We would normally get our feed about other people from the news, right? But it's when you meet people face to face and you talk to them, you would have different idea.
I really want to find out what it is that travel is doing for people so much. What is it about going far away that convinces us that we are healed or given insight, and bring that message back, whatever that is, and use that as a foundation, a launching point for sort of the rest of my life. We are about an hour and a half away from hopping in an Uber and going to the airport and flying to Asia for at least 3.5 months.
My name is Andrew Malcolm. I'm a filmmaker living in Los Angeles, California. And in 2018, my partner Allison and I traveled for 5 months through Southeast Asia. For a while, I had felt like I was in a perpetual rut, and it became fixed in my mind that my solution was to travel for several months.
I have some feelings about where I'm going, but I'm not sure if any of them are right.
I told my family of our plans, and they weren't thrilled. What was wrong with a normal vacation? A week to get away and reset? Why did we need to go all the way to Asia, and why for so long? And in truth, I couldn't give them an answer. I discovered we weren't alone in our desire, though. My generation, the millennial generation, those people born between 1984 and 1999, travel more often, take longer trips, and spend more money on travel than any generation previous to ours. The data clearly showed that traveling was important to us for different reasons than just relaxation.
This is weird because I'm like trying to get something across that I don't have words for.
And so I decided that I would ask my peers to answer questions that I couldn't. Why were we so concerned with traveling to far-off destinations? And what did that say about us? And maybe, in the process, I would find some answers for myself. Over a period of 5 months, we interviewed over 150 millennials from over 40 countries in search of answers to these questions. Our journey would bring us farther away than we'd ever been, and bring us closer to each other than ever before.
I'm coming on a spontaneous holiday.
A spontaneous holiday?
Yeah, I booked it last week.
You just decided that it was time to up and go?
I need a break, I'm going.
Actually, I was our first big travel. We wanted to have really good discovering and something very different from our home.
For example, like if I stay in my country, it's like there is something different from my country. Maybe it's good thing or bad thing, but it's like we will find out something new.
Taking a closer look how's life in other places. I don't know, like getting sort of involved in different realities.
Different people.
Different tradition.
Different
religion.
No megapolis, just relax, and enjoy sea, ocean, to catch a sunset, it's amazing. Just think about everything. When you are living in megapolis, like where it's a lot of traffic, a lot of buildings, everybody's like wanna go somewhere, work, study, everyone in a rush.
Maybe in your country you don't know a lot of people because they are in their little world.
Connecting with other people, I think, is one of the biggest parts with traveling. Just getting to know people from different countries with different opinions and a different mindset.
Immersing myself with different people that I would never usually meet back home and trying different foods. And today we ended up in an elephant sanctuary and we were looking after a little baby elephant, and we went to a monastery and we were talking to monks, and then we just ended up at a ladyboy show this evening. It's like you never know what's going to happen. It's so great in that sense.
I don't think I'm wasting my money having that long trip with a lot of cost, because I think I'm learning a lot of things, and that is most valuable than anything I can buy in a shop.
We're used to these clean streets and this type of civilization where we idealize it as the best, and then you come here and it's obvious that people don't have as much money as we do, but nonetheless they're as happy or even more happy than we are, and that to me is quite interesting to see.
It's the differences that really make you see how you live your life. And so when you're at home, you see how other people live in their lives, and it's very similar to how you live your life, so you don't notice it. But then if you go somewhere else, you notice the differences of the people, even though they act the same. And it's just, the difference is what makes you notice it, and that's why you think it's amazing.
What's so important about living and doing these things right now?
We are young, we are learning a lot of things. You don't have so many things that make you attached to a place.
I don't have children, don't have a man. I'm free.
I'm in the part of my life that I have saved some money. I'm still single, I have no kids, so I think I'm getting older, so it was like now or never.
Let's say if I have kids right now, it will be really hard to travel with them. So I need to go really far now because I have all the energy, I have a job, I can do it. And then who knows if I wait until I'm, I don't know, 40, if I will be able to.
Most of the couple previous generations, the idea is you travel when you retire, right?
Exactly.
You work and then you travel when you retire after you've saved money.
Or like when you start up, like you get married and all of that, then you travel with your kids. But maybe this will never happen.
Time is going by no matter what we do about it. I have a young body now. I'm strong enough to walk around in this jungle now. So why wait?
Why is it important for you to get out of Malaysia?
Because when I'm in Malaysia, I always in working area.
Why not just be at home in the States? The States is a big place. Why are you across the Pacific?
It seems like you do the same thing every weekend, maybe in their different places like LA or San Diego. But for me, it's usually almost the same thing. Like you party, you go to a bar, you go to a club, you go somewhere like that. I wanted to do something like entirely different. So
we have to, comment on dit sortir? Stay? No.
Excite.
No, you have to exact routine, daily routine.
This kind of life, I think it's better than working in an office. I don't know, I spent 5 years in an office working. Every day is the same. I don't
It's
know.
like you're
It's like a robot, but I felt like a robot.
At home, it was just like I said, it was you get up, you go to work, you come home, you go to bed. It was just mundane and boring, and no wonder people get depressed, because if you think that's the rest of your life, then what have you got to live for?
Home is, everything is routine. Everything is very boring. I wake up, I work like 12 hours because I work in hospital. Then I come back, eat, sleep, like I hate this routine.
So when I was working back home, I had a nice 9-to-5 job and I knew where to go every day, I knew where to come back to. And if something went wrong, I had family there to kind of pull me out of it. And then moving to completely the other side of the world, it took away those luxuries.
I've been able to prove to myself that even when in sketchy, scary situations, I can figure out a way of pulling myself out of it somehow.
It's not about even being alone, it's just getting out of your comfort zone. And once you're out of your comfort zone, you're at your best, aren't you? You're at your absolute peak. 100%. My social skills are, I'm not bragging, it's just like, I'm at the top of my game that I have been. 100%. I've learnt so much.
Moi, je préfère voir le monde entier avant de mourir que de rester chez moi en sécurité et rien faire. C'est important, voir toute la planète.
So what do you think about the idea of going on a structured tour? So you spend 2 days here, 2 days there, you have lunch at this hotel.
I don't know, like part of the thing is like all those tours where they pick you up the hotel and everything, like it feels too...
we didn't like doing that at all. It
synthetic,
wasn't
you know? It's like I want to like
exactly.
meet up with some random local and he takes me on the back of his motorcycle or something.
Now it's different. Millennials tend to want to explore different forms of travel in the sense that it's not always about experiencing something that you read or someone has said, but it's more like, yeah, your own, what you want to see, and what you want to do, and what you want to get out of that.
I'd rather like see a country or go somewhere a little bit different, or like I don't want to stay in a resort. I can sit and chill at home. That's my kind of attitude. I want to be out like seeing things, eating food, running across the road while motorbikes come at me in all kinds of directions.
But presumably that model exists because it's been successful in the past. That's how people have wanted to travel, is to just get picked up and do the highlights and then leave, sort of burn out.
Works for a lot of people.
Why do you think millennials don't want to do that?
It's too cookie cutter of a situation. It's like I don't want to do something that's preset for me. I would like to do something where I have the freedom to do what I want and not have to follow like a guideline or follow some guy who's telling me to do something.
I feel like that's part of getting to know yourself, if you can choose what you want to do and it's not guided.
People invite you into their house, they invite you into like their own life and day-to-day life. And to them it might seem boring, but to you it gives you like that glimpse of someone else, which I just find so intriguing.
The family that I was staying with, they were like the most welcoming people I've ever met. They were so lovely. They had 2 kids, and it was just like a really nice dynamic where you couldn't communicate like through words, but you found another way to communicate with each other, and every day was fun, and living in that community was the best part of the experience for me.
I'm a reader, so you can read all day about it and you can watch docs, and you never will feel the same moments as you do experiencing weather on a hillside with this little villager, or listening to music as you wander through a village that you've never been in, or a big city for that matter. Can't really do it till you've jumped in.
Traveling alone, staying in a country where they don't speak your language, makes you sort of more flexible. You try to adapt to new things, to new places, so I've become more flexible.
My first traveling, when I traveled alone, I was so afraid.
Sometimes you're scared because you know what you're going to do, how you're going to get the money, and 1 week later you find, I know, you meet new people and you're doing something you love and you didn't know you could love something like that, and you're happy. It's like, I know, it's hard to explain.
When you're together with your old friends, in their mind you're a certain person, and in your mind you're a certain person to them. So you'll stay that person. If you talk to other people, you think you learn better who you really are.
Yeah, I needed to prove to myself that I could. Like, I had a few self-esteem issues before I left. So to put myself in a situation that I knew I wouldn't enjoy and would find difficult, and to come out from that successfully, that was huge for me.
I'm not gonna lie, you do see some grim things. So child labour in Hajan, you see some awful things. It's not just like, your parents just think of it as a holiday. It's not a holiday. It can be like upsetting and stressful. And you've got all the ups and downs of meeting people and getting close to people, and then you have to leave, you depart. It's not a holiday, it's really enlightening. You just do so much, you see so many things.
I think it kind of, as I mentioned earlier, like opens your horizons and opens your mind to like new things. It helps you grow as a person.
Yeah, I think that this is kind of a cliche that you go traveling to find yourself, but I think that basically it's true.
Now that I'm getting closer to the real goal of my journey, I'm like realizing that it's more like a spiritual journey than just backpacking.
You relax your body on the beach or some place that you like, but in your mind, I think you have to take a shower also.
It helps you. I don't know. It's like
be with yourself, no distractions, no friends, know your language, know your culture, so you are with yourself and you discover more yourself.
Learn more and discover more, and when you have more, so you are in the herd and you richer.
You get a different perspective about yourself, like in a different place, a different time, a different environment, and
To
all,
know yourself.
Yeah, all on your own, you can know yourself better.
I hope that when I come back, I have the courage to do what I really want to do in this world. I hope that I get some sort of insight as to why I want to be there, or just not here. I kind of want to get lost without actually being in danger. It quickly became clear that I wasn't alone. Those personal frustrations I had been feeling were shared by people my age from all corners of the globe. This self-imposed pressure to travel, the need to explore, to learn about myself from the experiences of others, by having to make choices, unsure of what was next, and by making myself uncomfortable.
Scheiße.
This seemed to be the prescription for the existential troubles I found at home. And it was clear that this desire to expand my mind and cultivate myself was nearly universal. It was a freeing realization. But if that was the case, then what was it that millennials shared in common that had given us such similar compulsions to see how others live, and to seek out our answers so far from home? With so much in common, we must have been shaped by the world in similar ways. But what was it that had shaped us?
Why do you think millennials spend so much money on tourism?
Because we'd probably rather enjoy living our life than getting the 9-to-5 job, getting married, getting kids, getting a mortgage, getting a car and dying.
Maybe you should not call it the generation Y, but the generation that were born in a period where everything changed.
Do you think that millennials are more similar than, say, our parents were to other countries?
Might be, yeah.
Why do you think that would be?
Well, because of globalization, this trend makes people travel more.
Mostly borders is open and you going to куда ты хочешь, wherever you want.
More internet to see places that we don't know for 100 years.
I think now it's just made so easy.
There's information just at the click of your fingers, maybe.
The internet, you see more of the world without actually being there.
I think social media has allowed a lot of people to feel more connected to the world globally. I've been to a few countries just because I'll be on Instagram and be like, yo, that looks beautiful, or that looks cool. You see a video or something like that.
The fact that everything is so open and so available to us at this moment make us look at Thailand as not that far a destination that we can go there.
Before you go to a place now, you can use Google Street View and you can see everything that's in that place already. You know what the top attractions are, you know, and even me today, I was walking around staring at my phone okay, I need to turn left in 5 seconds.
I definitely think just being from the technology era, the convenience of accessing information is definitely doing a lot for our generation.
Instead of accepting things, we're almost sort of rebellious in it. And I think you ask my parents when they were this age, they'd probably say the same thing for different reasons. But I think ours is more of this unified change because of the level of communication that we can all have.
So I feel like back then it's you heard from your parents what they said was gold, and now it's well, Google oh, that's not right.
Yeah,
it's a lot more information.
Access to
fact check
information,
everything.
Yeah.
I can get on Google and I can get an answer if I want to. I don't have to wait for a book. Really, that access to that information, or what it's like being another person or growing up in another culture, that information is out there.
It's hard to pick what is real. Even some documentaries with their cool scenes and things like that. You really have to double check everything, which is unfortunate in the age of information that we can't get good information.
But in meeting people, I've also realized that they're kind and they are trustworthy, because when you hear the news, you just hear about how terrible this place is or how terrible that is, and you actually find out that it's not true at all.
Now we have so much information and media, it's like you see all the extra oppression that you didn't see, you know, back in the day. So I feel like people are more aware of it now. In exchange, they want to be more open to everything else.
You know, the world is shrinking as opposed to growing. You know, the internet is bringing everything closer. So the more we can understand everyone else, the better we can progress as a society.
We do have a generation that I think we have raised with a great degree of entitlement.
The millennials don't get off the couch very often.
We're told that they can have anything they want in life just because they want it.
So-called millennials don't have a strong work ethic, motivation.
Millennials are the worst.
The word millennial is synonymous with lazy and selfish.
Yes, makes me cringe.
I try not to be selfish, but I guess sometimes you just want to seek your own happiness and tend to forget about other people.
I really never got the negativity to it or why it came about. I mean, maybe we just do stupid shit and we broadcast it on TV.
Well, yeah, you see it a lot more often now. You know,
Yeah,
we film everything and throw it on Instagram.
It's got to be what it is. I mean, people back in the day were doing stupid shit like my dad would, except there was no evidence of it, so.
A lot of people think we're constantly on our phones, constantly in the virtual world. So in that way, in terms of the real world, they don't really think that we know how to navigate it because we're always like this. That's the age that we grew up in. That's definitely one thing I think that contributes to it.
To assume that an entire generation is lazy is just wrong, because every generation had lazy people in it. Internet addiction and cell phone addiction, we blame the individual for having those addictions when it's natural for humans to be addicted to things.
Dopamine is released when you get likes on Facebook, or when you get messages, or even just pings of notifications. Like they've done studies, and the mind actually gets addicted to it in the same way that it can other drugs or alcohol. And that's why our parents fall into the Facebook hole as well, because it is addicted. You know, it's not just a part of our generation.
It's true that we spend more time thinking about me, what do I want, how do I want to live our lives, but it's just that our current generation, they don't have the luxury to think this way.
Because of how readily available planes are, because of how readily available places like this, you can just book it online. Everything's made simple for us. So I think that's another reason why.
Yeah, it's literally through the touch of a thumb that you can do it, you know.
The social media aspect is having like the comparison of other people, which is, it can be a negative thing, but it can also be like an inspirational thing. Like if you see people doing things and you think, oh, I want to do those things. And I think our parents didn't have so much of comparison to their peers.
Every time I speak to my mom, she's like, did you hear this bad thing that happened in this country?
Media is kind of used to impose a sense of danger and fear into people. It's kind of like a cage, and maybe, you know, the older generations are scared of the new generation of breaking free of that and opposing it.
For a country, it's better if you study something and work. It's like, even in school, everything tells you what to do.
Yeah.
The society, the states, the news, everything.
When you are doing something different, you are saying like, I left my university. Why? Like I don't want to study, just I want to go to travel or do something another, you know. They will say, oh really, you are bad, why you don't study, you know. They think different already in their mind, like they think like study system, yeah, like study, work, and like that. We are thinking different.
I could give you a list of more than 10 people who are still back at home and they think that what I'm doing is crazy and it's not really the thing that I should be doing or focusing on. And it's not because what I'm doing is a bad thing, but it's because it's not what people are used to doing. It wasn't the idea that was put into our head as we were going into school.
Ever since I chose to go to university and what I studied at university, so much of my life has been dictated about what other people think and what other people want me to do. And I feel now that, I felt for the past couple of years that was a completely wrong way to act. And I wish that I chased some passions earlier.
Our grandparents would have been from the States, would have grown up with the Great Depression. Obviously you guys have issues with that as well. So saving every penny and not wasting it on frivolous, unnecessary things would have been ingrained in them as children. and then into adulthood. My parents then would have been raised by that kind of mentality, but they would have been told, oh, now you can spend a little bit more and you can get houses and cars, and so it's bigger, but it's still consumer. And we're still consumers, absolutely, but our consumer material good has changed.
My father doesn't understand any of the shit I do. If I tell him, I look him in the eye, because he gets very frustrated and he feels anxious for me on all these things I do, and I was like, Dad, this is what makes me happy, and isn't that most important? I think that's changing. The definition of success and happiness. It's not necessarily how much money you have or the status.
But yeah, I think it's just the way she's brought up, that she's like, oh, I want you to find a job that's stable, and then you work all the way until you retire, and then that's your life.
Yeah, we are really taking our liberty. Like we are choosing to be, it's a choice for us to be free. But I think why our parents are supporting us, why the Generation X is supporting us, is because they have regrets. Like they think, okay, yeah, we lived like that, we lived in this normal way, and finally our life was shitty.
Our mindset being, you're supposed to reach this age, get married, have kids, all that sort of stuff. We started seeing that wasn't working really, and decided that we didn't need to do that, and there was better ways to live. And
so not now, we make a family and we have a job, a big house with a dog, with a baby. No.
I think there's a paradigm shift on how to live your life and how to really be happy, that we don't just fall into these cultural norms and what like society has broken down for you on what you should do. This will lead you to happiness, this path. And I think that we're starting to stem out and be like, well, no, not for me. That's not what's going to make me happy.
I think we go against the idea, the structure, the system. When people who go along with that idea, with that system, see that, they get scared. It's like they're scared because they think that's the only way of living, and we are saying no. So, because for them it has to be wrong what we are doing.
When we were a child, we told us that environment, blah blah, you're free, you can do what you want, and finally not. Like we're the generation that can do everything, but finally not, because we can't do that on that way. Right. We're like, freedom, okay.
People did ask me, well, you know that traveling is a good time for retirement. We're in an economy that is projected for the future to not have the same retirement experience as the people who are living in retirement currently.
I mean, I know I'm like a shitload of money in debt from university. There's a housing crisis, everything's super expensive. I mean, my rent in DC is like $1,200 a month, and I live in a 7-person group house, like it's ridiculous. And I'm like 50 plus grand in debt. And that puts a lot of constraints on me where I can't, even if I wanted to have like a house that like my parents had a house at like 30 or something like that. I'm so far away from that. Oh my God, I don't even think I'll ever own a house.
Because it's so hard to do, and you've got to save up so much money to even put a deposit down. Like back home, you have to save up £20,000, and you can't even, it's hard to get a job of $20,000 a year, and then you've got to save, you've got to rent first.
My parents just sold the house that I grew up in that they owned for 25 years, and they sold it for almost twice the amount that they bought it for. So that same exact house that used to be half as much is now not within my capabilities of purchasing at their age.
Actually in China, we young people don't have so much money for cars or for rooms.
Like rent was like taking up between us like 2/3 of our wages. Yeah, and after that then you pay for food, and then we had no time to just do anything, really.
Like most people I know that come out of uni, they don't have a job. They've tried, they've applied, but they don't have one. It's a lot easier back then to even get like a kind of fairly crappy job, and then you can progress and you can earn like quite a good wage. I feel like now if you started on some of the similar jobs that my parents started on, you would be earning like absolutely crap money 10 years on, and you'd be absolutely nowhere.
It's the businesses, it's the owners of businesses and companies, factories, etc., who are willing to ditch their entire workforce and then exploit a country which is slightly, where the labour is cheaper.
The thing that was fed to me was that if you work hard enough, you can go anywhere and do anything. And that's the beauty of what all of these generations have worked for you. That's not exactly true, because we are fed lies, and that's student debt. No, student debt, that's part of it. It's like everybody can do it. You worked here, get it. 200K, who cares?
For my college education at the same institution that my father went to, I'm paying almost 3 times as much as he did for the same education, and that can't be brushed aside. That has to be acknowledged.
Unless you're working a really good job, solid from the age of 21 till sort of 65, 70, we're not going to be able to retire. I already know that for a fact. I'm in 44 grand's worth of debt. 44 grand from university, £9,000 a year in the UK. And then you've got living costs on top of that.
I think the previous generations have, unfortunately, they've created a lot of obstacles and barriers for us, and I don't think they fully understand how much we are feeling that as millennials.
And there they were, my answers. We as millennials had been presented the internet as we transitioned from childhood into adulthood. For me, the opposite side of the globe had never seemed untouchably alien. Every day in Los Angeles, Asia was just sitting in my pocket. The idea of going there hadn't seemed insane or irresponsible, but merely a matter of will. And here were 100 strangers, using the same tools as myself to search for personal truths in corners of the world that for generations had been out of reach. And yet, millennials had also lived through a terrible recession. We went to school in the era of skyrocketing loans, decreasing wages, and the climax of the college boom. And most recently, COVID-19, all while gaining the labels of being selfish, entitled, and lazy. And maybe, just maybe, we'd begun asking that if all our money could just disappear, if our generation was going to be saddled with debt, and we were being chastised as the bad apples of human evolution, then was this golden years narrative about how one should live our best life really true? Or had some basic set of human priorities just radically shifted within us? For the first time in history, we had the tools to go in search of those answers. And so that must be what I was doing. Out there asking probing questions to random faces that intuitively they just seemed to understand. It occurred to me that if most of us were seeking such similarly motivated experiences, perhaps being shaped by these common social conditions hadn't just shaped our desires, but perhaps shaped our values. And if that could be true, if a global generation could share common values, what might those common values be?
So I have a hypothetical question for you guys. I give you each $10,000, right? And I say that you can spend it in 2 of these 4 ways. You can save it, you can buy something, you can travel, or you can give it away. What 2 of those 4 things do you do with that money?
Travel and give it.
Oh, travel and give it away.
Yeah.
Traveling and saving.
Save it or give it.
Travel and give it away.
Travel, spend, and maybe save a quarter of it.
Definitely travel and save.
Yes, travel.
I'll buy a Gucci bag.
Okay.
Let's be honest, save it.
Travel and save.
I would probably save half and travel with half.
I will travel and buy something. Travel and send it away.
What?
Travel.
You would travel. Only one, just travel.
Yes.
I want to travel. I want to travel.
Safe and travel.
I will invest and save. Travel. She's already done the charity. So I'll buy some new gadgets.
Okay. So same than me.
Okay.
Charity,
okay.
Yeah, save not and travel.
I'll give half away and the half I'll travel with.
So give it away.
I would probably save it and travel later.
I'll go and get my boobs done.
I would travel and give.
I think I would give her some of the money.
I would travel.
Just travel, straight out. That's the one you'd use. Okay. All traveling too, yeah? Okay.
It would be first traveling for sure, and saving to travel more.
Travel and shopping, because I'm girl.
Okay.
I would save some to invest later on to make that grow.
Just all of it would go to travel?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Travel for sure.
Travel and spend it, probably.
And then the other one for me is probably save.
I'll travel and give it away.
I would travel and then I would also give some away.
Travel and I would give it away to some of the vulnerable people.
I would like to think that I would spend it traveling and I would spend it giving some away. I would like to think that.
Okay. Why would you not choose to buy something?
I'd rather use the money to buy experiences.
Exactly.
Allow me to have real life experiences.
These
not
are lasting
something-
things.
But I feel like if I have money, I want to put it to use to do things that I love, like traveling or just experiences while I'm traveling or anything at all. Really.
So you would spend the money on experiences rather than stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not about stuff. I never have been, like, since I was a kid.
I've never been into material stuff. He used to buy me things and I'd return it. I'd rather spend that money just seeing something different in the world.
I don't want to buy anything because, you know, buying the unnecessary thing can make you like poor.
The money is for, not for,
life.
ephemeral. This is not important.
Material not important.
Yes.
Travel.
See, the world is important.
When you're traveling, like buying things, like you bought it, you use it 1 week, 1 month, that's all, it's finished. But when you're experience, it's like really that thing that you can't buy it, you know.
Just like being able to experience things, think back to the memories of like different stuff you've done, different challenges. It doesn't have to all be good. It's just a lot better than, oh, I've got this phone and stuff like that.
When you're, for example, here in Chiang Mai, that is really cheap to live, no? You need coconut, vegetables. You realize that the society is always like selling you like a dream, like a not good dream.
See a lot of people, they show off a lot of things, phone, their car, their house. Even they get old, they still want to get money for their family.
I think it gives you a wrong indication of life. I think status tells you you have to have this, you have to have this will make me lucky, this will make you lucky. But I actually don't think those things make you happy.
Like you could die tomorrow and have like so much money in the bank, and what's it worth? Like nothing at the end of the day. Whereas if you like have all those experiences and die, then you live your life.
You earn money, we earn money, everyone works for money, we need money. But if we just keep earning money and we don't spend it and utilize it in a better way, that money is going to stay here, we're going to die. And so I don't want to have any regrets on my deathbed.
I don't want to be secure.
You don't want to be secure. What do you want to be?
I want to be free, to explore, to live things, to live the life.
What is so important about happiness instead of security, instead of being protected or showing off?
Why? Because we live the moment now, so why it's very important, because we are feeling good now and maybe tomorrow we can die, so...
You think we're insecure about our future?
Maybe, yes.
I could die any second. My last breath could be going down that street. You know what I mean?
Well, where the fuck does that come from?
I don't know.
You're going to be 60 years old and you can't do the types of things that we're doing right now.
Right.
I think I see that. I work in trauma and I see 16-year-olds dying, 17-year-olds dying. I see people dying of gunshots that are just driving in their car and minding their own business.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of where mine stems from.
I had accident, you know, I can be die. I had accident in motorbike without helmet, with nothing. Just I had the accident.
Congratulations, you're okay.
Yeah, I'm
you made
alive,
it.
I'm
yeah.
alive. After that I think like, yeah, I can be die, you know.
Yeah.
What I did, like fucking, I caring about the money, I was unhappiness about something, you know, small things. I said, just enjoy it.
I think what makes you happy is recognizing that everything you have is enough and you don't need more.
You know, I live in the now. I have friends that I've lost since high school already. So in the end, I don't really know how long my life is going to be. So I just feel like I don't have time to wait.
Life is just like so short. You never really know like what's going to happen, and so you should kind of do the things that you have always wanted to do before you feel like you'd never really know. And so I think obviously career is like very important, but I don't think it's like the most important thing.
A lot of people get stuck in thinking about the future so much that they forget about what's important to them and what's important, what they want in their life. Like if you look at your entire life, like what do you want out of it? And I think it's different for everybody, but everybody gets a little caught up in thinking about the end goal that they forget the steps to get there, I guess.
I know, I always like to say a phrase, but it's
I never think of the future. It comes soon enough.
You live in the present. You should enjoy it. And the future is ahead. You must face it. It will go to your life soon. But for me, I don't have so much plan for the future. It will go to my world soon, and I try to accept it.
What other lessons have you learned traveling?
For example, the people in Vietnam are the same people as us. They want the same things. They have a different culture, but that doesn't matter. In the end, we're all humans.
If I value you, you're going to value me. You know, everyone's got their own story.
Traveling and seeing just how kind everyone is, you realize how different groups try to instill fear into people and how they use that as a way to gain power. And that's definitely not the case. Like, yes, there are terrible people doing terrible things, but that's never the majority. It's always the minority, and you have to get to understand that, but then also look for the better part of everyone.
My friends were all from out of Pakistan.
Yeah.
I have very few Pakistani friends, like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
All others were from Russia, from UK, from France, and everywhere. And we even discussed our religions like openly, and it was all okay.
When I have been in Malaysia, I really met a lot of people from all around the country, India, United Kingdom, North America, USA, like, you know, you are an amazing guy, even you are from Russia. You are human, me humanly, like, you know, it doesn't matter where you're from.
There's something that's driving you to do what you're doing right now. And that's in each and every one of us. To have that, like, something more than just ourselves.
I want to have such kind of this travel and helping people when I can share.
Even if sometimes the impact people are having somewhere isn't as much as maybe they think it is at the time, the most they can still take from that the experience of to enjoy like helping and caring, like going when you go back home, don't just be like I've done my bit to help the world, now I'll go back to like doing whatever I want. Like be like, okay, you go back home and then you make changes there.
We're all rooted in the same thing. We're trying to be happy. We're trying to find the things that make us happy. And I think that sometimes that some people along the path exploit other people to get there. I don't think that's true happiness. I think they have a warped view of what happiness is.
I think this is clever generation, so I think we have to share our culture and our opinion. And then we can learn from people so many things.
You know, you can see that we are so friendly, and also a lot of people who are same age with us, they are very friendly.
So I think we're going to be a more globalistic and progressive world. We're more understanding of each other's societies and whatnot. And we're not going to be ideal. We're not going to be perfect. Because it's not like all millennials are like think like backpackers or have that mindset. I mean, I see a lot of people in the United States that are still very tribalistic and closed-minded, racist, you know. But I think as a whole, our generation is really going to really start respecting each other more and respecting other cultures and just being more understanding of, of how the world works, and that it's not a zero-sum game. That we can all build each other up together and understand and respect each other. Yeah.
5 months had passed, and I had discovered that my dissatisfaction wasn't with home, wasn't with my career, and wasn't really the fault of any other generation. The discomfort I had been experiencing was unshareable, except for with those whom had grown up like me. More integrated and more exposed to what the world has to offer a human life than at any time in history. A generation which seeks acceptance and understanding from each other, and personal space to re-examine our own perceived limitations. Those who are compelled to rewrite their rules, but respect the rules of others. To live freely, but not carelessly. To dive deeply into knowing ourselves before it's too late. To risk failure before regret. To measure success in the amount of memories you have, and not the objects that might prove it. To forge connections between people, to live as fiercely as you can, and to let live with radical acceptance. These were the values that tied us together. And this is why we had begun our journeys. For us, going out into the world wasn't really a departure, but rather a coming together. Not as a country or a religion, but in an indirect way, we were venturing out as far as we could to seek a new community that we had been exposed to for most of our lives, the community of everyone else. And regardless of the elusive reasons for why we had found ourselves in Asia, this gamble had worked. Despite having been 8,000 miles from home for 120 days, I had found inspiration. I had shown myself more of who I was, and I could see more of who I wanted to be. These strangers had helped me grow and restored my faith in others. And although we didn't see eye to eye on everything, our values were powerful. Our vision of each other, beautiful. They showed me that the future is up for grabs, and by embracing our common values, we could author it together, perhaps in a way that no generation could before.
If you want to say anything to millennials as a whole, because we'll hopefully be sharing this all over the world.
I'll just say live your life, be open and embrace other people and just continue to experience whatever the world has.
You literally only live once, so YOLO.
Feel the present in every moment. This is the only way to happiness.
Para mí el futuro es el momento.
Is the present. You know, this isn't the only thing that you have to do. You do have the opportunity to go out to places or to try a different lifestyle or just to see how someone else lives their life and try to take a walk in their shoes.
Enjoy your life. And
because it's too short.
Yes. Yeah. Enjoy your life. Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
Just spend time in what you love, because it's in what you love that you will be the best.
Better is to concentrate in yourself, in your heart, what really want to, because it's not easy. In Europe or in America, it's easy to have everything you want. You have a lot of opportunities and you maybe be so confused because maybe you want this and this because you have all the opportunities. But feel your heart when you are happy.
I want you to study what you want, not what it's supposed to be the best choice.
The things that you can learn, it's always better than the fears that you have now. You will overcome them very easily.
I think there's a lot of pressure from the older generations to do what they've done, but I think from social media there's a lot of pressure to go out and travel and like to do all these things and to get the Instagram picture, but like you don't have to do that either. You do you.
In a very philosophical way, life can be like that actually. What is beautiful is also the everyday life, the fact of having close people, the fact of habits, wanting to go back to the same place, meeting the same guy, these type of things.
Just go and follow where your heart's at. And believe yourself, that's very important. Believe yourself.
Society kind of tells you success is money. But some people have all the money in the world and they're miserable. So I would definitely say to all the millennials out there, just focus on what makes you happy and what makes you feel successful.
If you don't like it, don't do that. Do that thing that you love.
You might be rich, you might get rich off of it, you might not, but I think if it's something you're really passionate about and it really makes you happy, that's all the riches you need.
Anything is possible when you set your own goals, when you create a budget, when you do your research, and most importantly, when you forgive yourself when you have setbacks.
It's the age that you can't do everything. And whatever, maybe they think this big, but they can't do it. And this age is that you have power to do everything.
But if you really put your mind to something, or if you have the courage to do something new, you'll be able to learn it and to not be afraid of doing something you have not experienced.
Just keep moving. You're not always going to be happy, but you could always have action towards doing things that make you happy.
Just don't linger on things, I guess.
Do good things, it's important also. Help people.
Treat people the way you want to be treated. Don't be afraid.
Keep an open mind and
make sure that what you're doing is having a positive effect, and yeah, enjoy it.
We have probably the most big potential of any generation before. We have to do it better than the generations that came before us, and we have the potential to do it, so you know, it's easy.
You have to try things differently. You got to look at things at a different point of view, and you just got to accept that there's going to be people who don't think the way you think or don't really believe in the things you believe in, and that's fine. Just move on, keep on going.
We just want to live and let live, and we can't understand why people won't let that happen, but we can make that happen. We are so much more capable and powerful than the systems at play let us feel, but we have to understand each other, and we have to not be afraid of being vulnerable enough to understand each other. And even if we do just become a generation that dreamed really hard and fucked it up, we will forever have been the chapter in human history that tried this. And we could be that. And we should be that.
Get out of your comfort zone. You don't have to go all around the world, even if you live like in a village, or just go in the mountains. Just go for a hike. Just change the reputation. You know, like just break it a little bit. Good stuff will come up.
And if you're struggling on what you want to do and you're not sure where you're at right now, I'm saying get a ticket to anywhere that you want to go. Get there.
Explore the world, because you will just end up being more open-minded and full of adventure and story to tell about.
And open your mind. Yeah, come traveling around the world. Yeah, world is your home. Yeah, and everybody is your friends.
Don't stay at home. Pack your bag and get out of the room.
We are born at one place, that's acceptable. But if you die at the same place, that's your fault. You were given all the opportunities and resources to travel and see things, but if you cannot do it, that's your loss.
In the intervening years since our return, I've had ample time to ask myself, what did I really learn on our trip? And the truth is, the lessons that I learned about myself and the world are too enormous to describe and too personal to articulate. But here's what I can say for sure. I gained more self-knowledge and more belief in the future of our world in those 5 months than I had in years of spending time self-reflecting at home. I came back different, stronger, braver, and hopefully more kind. And although not everyone will share the views of the millennials we interviewed, speaking with others from my generation had taught me one thing for sure. Millennials are uncertain, but that uncertainty is our greatest strength. It compels us to ask questions, to seek answers, to open our minds, and to be present, to challenge norms and redefine beliefs. We are anything but normal, and that's our best quality. And that millennial condition, that natural curiosity we have to seek out those answers, could make us unstoppable. We have the potential to radically change the world, one newly forged relationship at a time. And if we unlock that potential by reaching across our divisions and expressing faith in one another, the world will understand exactly who we are, perhaps even before we do. So, should I be fortunate enough to cross paths with you somewhere out there in our big, beautiful world, please say hello. Let's celebrate this life together and enjoy each other's company while we're both in discovery mode. I'll see you there.
This is it. I just need you to say your name, your age, one in a row, and then all together say, I'm a millennial. That's all I need.
Rosie.
Miranda.
Laura.
I'm a millennial.
I'm Chris.
I'm Angela.
I'm Nuria.
I am a millennial.
I'm Ben.
I'm Val.
And we are millennials.
I'm Fran, and I'm a millennial trouble.
My name is Felicia. I am a millennial.
A millennial.
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, here we go.
My name is Vikil.
My name is Sayina.
I'm a millennial.
I'm a millennial. I'm from Russia.
Nawaf Bluey, and I am a millennial.
I am Natalia.
I am Elaine.
And we're millennials.
Millennials. Yes. Just found out today. Sorry.
That's
I missed
perfect.
it this time.
That's okay. You want to do one more?
I'm Camille.
I'm Charles.
And I'm Millennial.
Stuart Trill from Preston, Lancashire, England. I'm 23 years old, unemployed. Cheers, chaps. It's been a pleasure.
Name's Anand. I am a millennial.
My name is Day. I am a millennial.
Perfect. That's all I need, guys.
I'm Agustina Rinaldi.
I'm Miguel Junco.
We are millennials.
My name is Martin, and I'm a millennial.
Hi, I'm Muskan.
I am Maninder, and we are a millennial.
We are a millennial.
Yeah.
I'm Johannes Schierler,
I'm Colin Nitkova.
and we're millennials.
Je m'appelle Shirazad et on est au Millennial.
I'm Renata.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Caitlin.
And we're a
millennial.
We're
millennials.
I'm a millennial.
I'm Susie. I'm Olga. And
I'm Rachel and I'm a millennial.
I'm Thomas. I'm a millennial.
I'm Joey.
I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm a millennial.
Oh crap! I messed it up.
Oh, it's really hard question.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Solen. I'm Cecilia. I'm a millennial.
Look. I'm a millennial.
Yeah, I'm Melanie. I am Alicia and I am millennial.
I'm Alba and I'm a millennial.
I'm Amir. I'm millennial.
Ellie.
Ariane. I'm a millennial.
Yeah, millennial.